Now, our next star of classical Greek philosophy, and our final star, is Aristotle. And Aristotle is best known for, first of all, being the student of Plato, and second of all, being the teacher of Alexander the Great. Now, we're going to find out that Plato proposed that we were going to have a just form of government either when philosophers become kings or kings become philosophers. And I guess this was the idea that Alexander the Great's father had, was to make Alexander a philosopher. Well, he was a far better king and military hero, than a military leader, I should say, than he turned out to be as a student of philosophy. Now, Aristotle was a prolific writer. He wrote a tremendous amount of philosophy. He wrote dialogues, and he wrote what you might think of as treatises or books. The dialogues have not survived. That is, we know that they existed because people who ran Aristotle's school after his death made reference to them, but none of them has survived to modern times, so nobody has read them today. But what has survived are his treatises, his books, which are lecture notes. And that's one reason why we will probably spend more time on Plato's writings, because for beginning students, the dialogue format is a much more engaging format than reading Aristotle's lecture notes. Now, the Aristotle, like Plato, and perhaps more so than Plato, really put together a comprehensive system of philosophy that included ethics, aesthetics, logic, science, all of the sciences, politics, and metaphysics. And what's interesting about Aristotle is he departed from his teacher Plato, in that he was a student of the sciences, and he was very much influenced by and did a tremendous amount of work in biology. And the method of experimentation and what you could learn by experience really had a much greater impact on Aristotle. Plato was much more impressed with mathematics as the paradigm, the example, the prime example of what you should do in a philosophical study. And what the other thing is very interesting about Aristotle, I mentioned the people that preceded Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, the philosophers who preceded them. We really do not have any of their works, although we do have reason to believe historical evidence that they wrote books. And part of the historical evidence comes from Aristotle. Aristotle was the first historian of philosophy. In his book on metaphysics, he makes reference to books that were written by various of what we call the pre-Socratic philosophers. So those are our three luminaries, our three stars of classical Greek philosophy. And you have to keep in mind that what makes people stars, or in order for them to have been stars and made the progress that they made, it was only because they stood on the shoulders of giants, really smart guys. And what we're going to do for the rest of this series of videos, lectures, is that we're going to take a look at these people on whose shoulders Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle stand, the people who built the foundation for them.